Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hello. My name is Darius Anucauskas and I'm the Chief Market Analyst here at Markets.com. And today is Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. Today is the 24th of July, 2025 still. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time for another little crypto update. I think I'm going to be doing this one as a regular every week because, again, we're at very interesting levels. And I think that, yes, it's worth mentioning given the popularity of the instruments. Look, before we jump into any action, as always, let's have a quick read through our risk disclaimer. So yes, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'm not going to disappear anywhere. Also, just a quick mentioning of our Markets.com website, which you can always check out for more information about us. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist. Also, just for you, if you're interested, on the 31st of July, on Thursday, I will be holding another special closed webinar. And that's going to be on Thursday, on the 31st of July. So check out the link in the description of this video. Basically, if you can attend the live session, that would be great. We will talk markets, and more importantly, I will be picking up on the sectors that in a way could benefit from the possible market reversal. Now, of course, I mean, you will probably ask, Darius, what are you talking about? We're at all-time highs, so exactly. So look, when the times go rough, it's always good to know where you can park your money, which sectors actually are looking a little bit better than others. So yeah, we'll dig into that. So hopefully you'll enjoy that session. But look, the session that I want and the things that I want to pick up today are the cryptos. So I just wanted to quickly share with you my little technical piece here on Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, Dogecoin, Polkadot, and Tron. Look. And looking at the Bitcoin, I recently did a little video on Bitcoin separately, but I thought I'm going to include this one, of course, in the update as well. Look, purely from the technical perspective, right? We are currently ranging. So since we kind of entered this little, we stalled around mid-July, we started moving sideways. Yes, from the very short-term perspective, we are still trading above this little short-term upside line taken from the low of the 22nd of June, or should I say the lowest point of June. And currently, yes, we're seeing a little bit of a rebound. So in a way, everything is positive, right? Well, I would say be careful. Look, the 120 zone so far is doing a fantastic job by providing resistance. And at the same time, this, like I said, this upside line is providing support, and also this 116 territory-ish is also doing a good job as a support area. So basically, we're stuck in between 116 and 120, but at the same time, kind of rebounding from this upside line. So now we're at a critical spot. Kind of Bitcoin has to do something, right? Initially, if you missed my videos before, which I did, I kept on saying, look, I'm targeting the 122 territory, period. The reason why I was targeting the 122 territory, because it kind of aligned nicely with my Fibonacci extension here, which was drawn from the lowest point of August of 2024, the highest point of January 2025, and then the lowest point of April of 2025. And this is where the 78.6 on the Fibonacci extension has been kind of measured. Look, it's always the area around the level, and look at this. I mean, this was a perfect move here, perfect test. So long story short, for now, I would say this way, that I am carefully monitoring this area. And in general, if you know that last week we had the three bills, three acts signed, now like the cryptos are regulated, and this is what I was saying, that in a way cryptos could be maybe losing their appeal a little bit, So look, you can check out some other videos here. This is the digital currency act that I was talking about, and I talked a lot about this thing, the new legislation. So basically, look, In general, yes. On one hand, that's great. We are creating cryptos a little bit more safe as an investment. But is it losing the essence of the whole thing being deregulated? Well, in a way, yes. And now that this is where my problem is that yes, we were rallying here nicely. Before the three acts were kind of signed. We were like everything was nice and rosy, but then we stalled. So in a way, it seems like buy the rumor, sell the news moment, right? Because we here in January we had the same thing. All the cryptos were rallying towards the U.S. president inauguration. Everybody was thinking that he's going to say something that supports the crypto. They didn't, and there we go. It kind of drifted, nicely corrected back down. I'm not saying that this is exactly what we're going to follow here. No, maybe it's a little bit different, but still everything comes with a little pinch of salt. So that's why we're being extra careful when we're looking at things and when we're kind of analyzing things like that. Long story short, for now, for me, I would start looking at some higher levels if we do push above the psychological 120 zone, or maybe even better, the 122 territory. And then, yes, I will consider some higher levels. Then, of course, we could start aiming for that 100% here on the Fibonacci extension if we draw it this way, but because, again, this is very subjective, and we basically end up around 135,000 ish. Good potential target. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's a good one here, but will we reach that? Well, again, a few confirmations are needed, at least for me, because I still have a little bit of doubt because again, we had the move and maybe a little bit of a retracement could be nice. Again, we'll see. But for now, given that the US dollar is still in a weaker side and there's no strength in the horizon or for that one, maybe this could, like I said, continue rallying. But again, I need a confirmation break. Bitcoin Cash, very quickly on this one. Look at this. This one's doing a beautiful. I like Bitcoin. I like Bitcoin Cash. Honestly, it's very nice. It's trading within a nice rising channel pattern. Again, not the picture perfect one, but still somewhat of a rising channel. Again, it could be debated. Maybe we're trading, in a rising veg pattern or something like that. If it is a rising veg pattern, then of course, then a confirmation, a drop could be possible here. But for even that doesn't matter. Whatever it is, a rising channel, a rising veg, still a break below the lower side here of this of those two formations. Basically, a drop below this upside line drawn from the lowest point of April would be required because at the same time we would drop below the 50-day EMA. And looking at this picture, Bitcoin Cash is a little bit more impulsive, more responsive maybe than other cryptos, but yeah, it's drifting back down. It seems like there's not much positivity. Maybe that's why it's kind of drifting lower. But maybe it's just a little correction, before another possible leg of buying. But that's why we're at, like I said, we're coming closer to a critical area. Let's see what's going to happen there. Ethereum. Now, Ethereum did a nice retracement, and I talked about this recently as well. I was looking at this. Look, we had a good rally here from the lowest point of June all the way to the current highest point of July. We did retrace back down a little bit. I was talking about that 33,400, kind of 3,500 zone ish, roughly here. So, or not far from that 23.6. I think that this is a good area of support. A lot of other cryptos are kind of doing the same thing, like for example Ripple here as well. So we got a nice decline. Look at this beautiful drop back to the psychological 3003 level, and after we hit the all-time high at 3.6588, something around there, we retraced all the way back to that psychological 3 level. Now this is where the question is. I mean, and by the way, this worked out nicely. I warned you about this in one of my videos, the Markets.com webinar, which you can always jump into. It's a live session on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so check out our YouTube channel. And for now, I would say this way that it has been a good move here. I'm very happy. We dropped below the 3.40 zone. So now the question is, can we see this? Actually, can we see like something like a rebound like this. If not, if we do fall and stay below the psychological 3 level, I'm leaning towards the downside, to be honest. I'm leaning for a bit of a larger correction back down. Very quickly on Litecoin, so this one is beautifully rebounding from this territory right here. This worked out like a charm. This downside line held nicely, tested the 106.60 zone perfectly. That's the highest point of May. I talked about this in my Wednesday's webinar. Yeah, now the question is, can we see a further drop below this 106.60? Or actually, is this do we have enough and it's time for a bit of a rebound towards this downside line? Well, for now I'm going to consider this, and to be honest, for me at this point I think I will stay with the same arrow here. I need a break of that downside line in order to get comfortable with some higher levels. Very quickly on Dogecoin, beautiful retracement, tested retraced the 23.6, the 38.2, beautiful here, beautiful hold up. Now the question is, can we do this? If not, if we start falling again below the 38.2, I'm leaning towards the downside, and I'm leaning towards the 50%, and then maybe even the 61.8, because Dogecoin, it struggles sometimes to find good support, because again, it maybe it has also a little element of Tesla in it as well, because again, we know that Musk likes it, and Tesla is not doing well. Right, yesterday it reported bad earnings, so maybe that's the case. Maybe this is where we are seeing this little issue. So look, and that's what I'm saying. That's why a lot of factors affect Dogecoin. Publicity is kind of one of those things, and let's see if this can rebound. But at the moment, Bitcoin seems to be the strongest one from all of them, and Ethereum, of course. And Polkadot, looking at Polkadot, beautiful retracement. Look at this, amazing. I mean, falling back below the psychological 4 level. Wow, talk about a correction here, ladies and gentlemen. And for now, I think if we continue to trade below the psychological 4 level, I'm considering a little bit of a move further south, but again, only up until this upside line taken from the low of the 22nd of June. And finally, Tron. Also, I like Tron a lot. After a good run it had here, it retraced, it now kind of tested this upside line. But the problem that I have here, okay, first of all, it's a tentative line, it might not carry much significance, but the thing is that we broke it, and we fell back below this hurdle right here, this the 0.3080. Now, look, the psychological 0.30 zone is still the one that probably we need to watch, and this is where we found support just fractionally below it. So I would say this way: as long as we stay above the psychological 0.30 zone, I'm still kind of leaning towards the upside, but not much, only like maybe a push back up here. However, if we start falling below the psychological 0.30 zone, I'm leaning towards the downside, ladies and gentlemen. So, right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time. As always, like I said, stay safe, have your stop losses in place, risk only what you can afford to lose, don't overtrade, and everything will be fine. That's the usual. And of course, also just don't forget to sign up for the webinar next week. So hopefully you'll like it. And yeah, I'll see you later in my next video update. Bye for now.